And today I'm going to be taking you through my app. It's a simple quiz app. It's called Test Your Knowledge. What it's going to do is it's going to give you a whole bunch of questions, and you're going to answer those questions with true or false. And then at the end of the quiz, it's going to give you your score. So the first things to note is I've got a number of screens here. Um, I've got 5 screens for 5 questions, and then I've got a screen for my home page and a screen for my score page. If we have a look at my home page here, we can see there's a bunch of things going on. Got a bunch of text views and a bunch of buttons and an image view. So basically, my text views, I've got one as a header here. It's attention soldier. And then I have another one with a brief description of what we're going to be doing. So it basically just says, welcome to the knowledge game, where we will be testing your knowledge on the events of World War II. And then we have another text view, which is start to begin, where the user will press the start button to begin the quiz. We also have an exit button, and this exit button will terminate the app if pressed. With my image view here, I wanted to add a GIF, but I couldn't quite get it to come right. So what I would have liked is for the soldier to be actively saluting, but I just couldn't get it right, so I decided to leave it like this. And for a majority of the screens, the code is pretty much all going to be the same. There's just a few tweaks here and there that we will get into. That's our main activity over here. We've got a few things going on here. We've got our class main activity. This is just declaring your main page. We have your override fun on create, which is called when the activity is created. We have the enable edge to edge, which is just, it's allowing the app to eventually fill the screen. So making the screen full screen, if that makes sense. And then we have our set content view, which is basically just setting out the layout. Then we come to our vowels here, our values with the welcome message, start button and exit button. These are just connecting your Kotlin code to your UI elements using their IDs. So these are the IDs over here. We've got start underscore button, exit underscore button, welcome underscore message. These are talking to the main XML here, and it's able to find them with these IDs here. So it knows exactly what it's looking for and exactly what it needs to do. Then we come to the welcome message, .text equals attention soldier. That's just displaying the message over here. And then we have our start button set on click listener with our val intents. So our intents here, what this is allowing us to do is it's listening set on click listener. It's waiting for us to click the start button so it can take us to the next question. As soon as we press the start button, it's going to take us to our next page. It's going to start that activity and it's going to finish this page. So it's going to close this page as soon as we go on to the next page. And then we also have our exit button, which is listening for us to click the exit. And what this is going to do is it's going to terminate the app completely. Right. Start getting into our questions. So all our questions, they pretty much all the same code and the same layout. So they're all going to consist of a main XML page where you've got your text view as a header for the question. You can see question 1 displays the question here. We've got a text view for the actual question, which is here. And then we have an image view, which is going to be a nice little illustration of what's happening. And then we're going to have our buttons, true, false, and next. So for each screen, you're going to have your question. You're going to press true or false. Once you have selected, It's going to say correct or incorrect, and then you are going to press next to go to the next question. And if we have a look at the code for all of that, if we have a look at our code here, just like the previous one, we have our class question 1 app compact activity. This is just defining the screen and the activity that you're doing. We've got the on create, which is just the life cycle method called when the activity is first created. And then we have your edge to edge and the set content view, which is your layout and obviously making it full screen. Then we've got our values here. We've got a question text, button true, button false, and button next, all with their respective IDs. You got true, false, next, text view 2. You can see the IDs over here. All right. Then, yeah, so like I said previously, this is just binding the UI compartments with the text and buttons to the variable in the Kotlin code. So the Kotlin code here, it's just binding it to the main activity here. And then we get a little bit more technical down here. You can see we've got button true dot set on click listener. If answer toast makes this correct. So to explain all of this, this is basically retrieving your score and passing it on to the next. So for each question, you're going to have a true or a false. For this particular question, the answer is true, which is why you have your score plus plus. So if the user presses true, then it's going to track your score here, which is defaulted to 0. So if I press true, it's going to give me 1, and we're going to go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, so on. You can see correct, incorrect for setting the answers out. If I press false, it's incorrect. If I press true, it's correct. And then what I've also done is with the toast, if you press the correct answer, it's going to give you correct. If you press the incorrect, the toast is going to say incorrect. So it's going to give you some feedback so you can know if you've pressed the right one or the wrong one. And I've also done it so that when you press one of the answers, it disables the button. So if I press true, then both buttons are going to be disabled, and the same with false. If I press false, both buttons are going to be disabled. So this just makes sure that the tracking of the answers is correct. It ensures that you can only press one answer and it tracks your answer correctly. You can't change it, you can't press true and then all of a sudden press false. Whatever you pick is your answer. There's no way to change that until you do the quiz again. Then we also have our question 2, class Java, intent put extra. So this is carrying the score to the next page, as well as soon as pressing the next button, you are closing this activity and starting the next activity. And this is all pretty much the same for all the pages. I mean, all the pages are exactly like this. The only thing to really note is, oh, I see that my one page isn't here. Let's just quickly retrieve that. Question 3 here. Sorry. Let's just move that over there. So you can see all the questions are pretty much the same with the same logic. The only thing that is changing, and you need to make sure. So I was having some issues because I coded this and then it wasn't going to the next screen, or it was going to the wrong screen, or nothing was changing. You need to make sure. So obviously your class question 1 here, you are defining the screen, you're setting the activity. So you need to make sure in each of your questions you have the right question. So question 1, question 1. Question 2, question 2. Question 3, question 3. The same for the sets content layout. So this is making sure that your screen is the right layout, it's the right question, because I was having issues. I was on question 3, but I was getting question 2's UI, which was very frustrating. And it was a simple mistake. You also need to make sure that all your IDs are different as well. So in my question 1, I've got true, false, next, text view 2. In my question 2, I've got button underscore true 2, button underscore false 2, button underscore true 3, button underscore false 3, so on for all the questions. And then, since we've established that the code doesn't change for any of the screens, it's just those one or two things that you got to change to make sure that you're dealing with the right activity and the right question. I'm not going to go through all of it again and again because they're all the same. And we'll go through their UIs and the Kotlin code when I show you the emulator. For now, let's just have a look at our score page. So very basic score page. Once you get to the score, you can have a bit of an end message with your text view. It's going to say, "Congratulations, soldier, you made it all the way to the end." And then this is going to show you your score. And I have added a restart quiz. It wasn't the requirements for the project, but I thought it would just be good to restart the quiz, and then we can put a couple more answers and see how, depending on what you answer, how your score changes and all of that, to see how it works. So with that being said, with our main activity here, we can see exactly the same. Your button exit, button restarts. You got your button restart set on click listener. So this, just like how the rest, when you press it, you go into the next page, next page, next page. With the reset button, I've got question 1 here. So once you press restart, it's going to reset your score and it's going to start from the beginning. So everything's going to get reset, and you can try do the quiz again with your score also being reset. And our final, we got the button exit, set on click listener, finish affinity. So basically, once you press exit, app gets terminated and it closes. I think I'm going to take you through the emulator and we can just see how everything runs, how it looks. If we go to my running, now I'm going to take you through the code and the emulator, show you how it all works, and hopefully I can explain it a little bit better. So for our main page, we've got our text views, and we've got our image view, and we've got our buttons. So we've coded it to be that if you press exit, the app is going to close, it's going to be terminated. We're not going to press that just yet. We're going to go with the start button. So my start button, the intent class Java, this is just saying that when you press the start button, it's going to take you to question 1, which is here. All right, so welcome to the knowledge game, where we will be testing your knowledge on the events of World War II. Press start to begin. Start. Takes us to our question 1 over here. We got our text views here. So we got question 1. World War II began in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland. The correct answer is true, which is why we have our score ++1 here, because our score, if we press true, it's going to say correct and it's going to give us 1 point. And once an answer is selected, our buttons will be disabled. So let's see what that looks like. Let's go true. There's our toast there that tells us you got it correct, and our buttons have been disabled, so we cannot press true, false. We can't change our answer. The only thing we can do now is press next, which is going to take us to question 2, as well as continue with our score. So we go next, question 2. Right. I can't get there. There we go. So now we have the atomic bomb was first dropped in the German city of Berlin. The answer is false. And we got it correct. All right. So then we're going to say next. Question 3. We've got Japan was part of the Allied powers during World War II. That is obviously false. You're going to go false. Correct. All right. Then we're going to go next. Question 4. Adolf Hitler was the leader of Nazi Germany. That is true. Right, correct. Let's go next. Question 5. The D-Day invasion took place on the beaches of Normandy, France. That is true. And then, like, just for all of them, every time we press an answer, our buttons are getting disabled, so we can't change it. And our score is keeping track, and it's giving us some input. Now we're going to go next into our, we are on question 5 here. Question 5, now we're going to our score page here. Score page. Congratulations, soldier, you made it all the way to the end. Your score is 5 out of 5. And that is pretty much it for the quiz. I added my own restart quiz just so I can show you what happens if you input a wrong answer, that the score changes. So let's restart quiz, which takes us here back to our question 1. And we're just going to go true, right? And we'll go false, correct. We'll go false, which is correct. We'll go next. And then for the last 2, we'll say true, which is correct. And our last one, we are going to say false, which is incorrect. All right, which gives us a score of 4 out of 5. And with that, we can exit to terminate our app and close all activities. All right, so thank you very much for listening. Hope you have a good day.